But let's move on to Israel because this is very, very exciting. This is a prophecy that Kim got way, way back. What was the year, Donnie?
I believe this is from 2014 or 15.
So
the clip that we're about to, the date will be on there.
Very interesting prophecy about the mayor of Jerusalem at the time, and I was there along with the team that we were with, and we saw him speak about this. And at the time, you know, it's crazy. You think, well, how could this ever be? Especially when Nir Barkat wasn't very excited about the fact that he was being told he might be the next prime minister. He kind of was a little taken aback. But Kim gave this prophecy, and I want you to see this prophecy because it's very interesting. Let's go to that clip now.
He spoke to me, said, the reason they want my people off the land is because if they're off the land, they are no longer protected as they are on the land. And you think about it. They were meant to live on that land. I went to that land and I stood there on the borders and prayed and met with whom I believe, and you can put that on if you want, with Mayor, Mayor Barkat. You can see me meeting the mayor of Jerusalem there, telling him that I believe that Am Israel Chai, Israel is forever. The reason he's nodding his head there is because I'm telling him, you are the future, a future prime minister of Israel. I gave him my mantle with the Star of David, and Israel is forever. I believe I saw and met a future, maybe not the next one, Prime Minister of Israel, and I've seen him 3 times. Who do I think I am? Nobody. I am, though, and I will not be ashamed of it, a prophet of the living God.
No, Christy, that is unbelievable.
What's wild about this is that at the time, because I remember when we did the concert in 2011 at the Tower of David, and Nir Barkat was there as the mayor, and he was so happy to have us, and we had all these people from around the world, and we were doing the tour. But I know when Kim was speaking to him at the time, he was planning to exit politics. So I think he didn't really know what to do with this strange sort of South African man telling him that he was going to be a prime minister when his plans were to exit. But now Doobie got very excited about this and sent me this article a couple days ago, and it said this. This is a poll that they ran in Israel, because there's a lot of unrest at the moment because the centrist left government that's come in post-Netanyahu is making a lot of deals with the Arabs, and they're looking at giving land away, and there's all sorts of chaos happening. So there's a lot of unrest and unsettling, okay? And this poll was conducted countrywide, and it said the only candidate, according to the poll, who can preserve the Likud's advantage. Now, the Likud was Benjamin Netanyahu's party that Nir Barkat was part of. The only candidate, according to the poll, who can preserve the Likud's advantage and decide the election by the highest margin is Nir Barkat, the former mayor of Jerusalem, who stated that he intends to run for the party leadership the day after Netanyahu succeeds in leading the Likud to 29 seats in the poll. It's 4 seats less than Netanyahu even, but it's still a situation in which the Likud would be the largest party with a 10-seat gap between Likud and Yair Lapid, who are currently in second place. Now, obviously, there isn't an election right now, but there's clearly stated intention from this man who at the time of Kim prophesying this was like, I'm out of politics, man, I'm done. Now is talking about how he intends to run for the head of that party, and it was the party that was the biggest in Israel. And actually, when you look at how many seats they won, they still came out as top of the election. But because Israel's political system is so strange and they give so much power to all these smaller parties, when you look at just the numbers, the overall majority of Israelis still vote for Benjamin Netanyahu's party, and Nir Barkat is coming out as even more popular than Benjamin Netanyahu in the polls, which is insane. Just going to say that.
Correct.
It's wild.
Well, I remember right before Dad went to meet him, Barkat, and I couldn't go, I was pregnant, but he took me to the mall and said, I want to get him a gift. And so we had to find something. And we got him, Dad got him a big crystal eagle. Mm-hmm. And he took that and presented it as a gift when they had that meeting that day.
Yes.
The eagle, always representative of freedom, of America. So there's that connection there, And Dad prophesied over and over again what God was going to do in America and Israel at the same time. He said to Netanyahu, whether prime minister or not, you will still be a prophet. God has ordained you to do so. So it's, I'm not quoting him verbatim right now. I'm just remembering these as I'm sitting here. But, that's just amazing because I remember Dad was saying, that
he wrote it on his hand, Donnie.
Yes, he wrote it on his hand.
He wrote on his hand.
He wrote the name.
Yes.
Were you there for that, Christy? I know I wasn't there, but I did hear that he'd written his name on his hand.
I wasn't in the room, but I was on that trip.
My dad wrote on his own name.
Yes.
Yes.
So I believe that this is a prophecy that we need to keep our eye on because it's like the Trump prophecy. Kim way back prophesied Trump will be a trumpet, Trump will be a trumpet, and he kept prophesying things about Trump. Then he prophesied the fact that Trump was going to have 2 terms. So we're waiting to see what happens for the future. We don't know. Prophecy is like this. You when you look retrospectively, you can see God's hand in something.
Yes.
So we need to keep our eye on this because I believe that this is a prophecy like the Trump prophecies.
Yes.
So we can see what's happening for the future. We need to be keeping our eyes on it, and it's going to be incredible. I mean, here God is speaking to us.
Yes.
And and Kim has passed away. Kim could not speak when Trump came down that escalator. Kim could no longer speak. So when we would ask him stuff and try to explain things to him, Trump is going to run for president, he just would nod his head because he could not speak anymore. So people need to understand how unbelievable that Trump prophecy was. Trump became the president. Everything about Trump,
the walls, the economy,
everything about it happened. God is in this thing, and we are watching it happen. And I think sometimes I look back and I think, well, maybe God didn't want Kim to say anything more. He had said everything God wanted him to say, and that now his mouth is shut. He can't speak anymore. Very interesting, although it's very heartbreaking for us as a family to have to deal with that. That could be something very, very interesting to think about.